Hey guys, SpinoDude here and welcome back to another video. Marvin, bring out the figure we're going to be taking a look at today. Thank you, Marvin. Alrighty, so today guys, I'm super excited to be able to take a look at this. This is the 2019 Deluxe 1/20th Scale CollectA Carnotaurus. A brand new figure from CollectA's 2019 Prehistoric World range, and I want to send a big thank you out to djenkins.com for their great service and very efficient shipping when they sent this out. Now, this was one figure that I was really interested in. I have to say the promo image wasn't incredibly flattering, especially with the angle they had. They made the Carnotaurus look very like stubby. I think it was pretty much this angle right here. They made it look very stubby with the way they took the picture. And also the scoots and the feet really didn't appeal to me in that image. But I started seeing some more in-hand pictures and I just started falling in love with this figure more and more. And I decided to pick it up. And guys, I am so unbelievably happy with this figure. I can't even begin to tell you. This is, right here, in my opinion, the definitive Carnotaurus figure out on the market. Like, if you're looking for a Carnotaurus that is the real animal and not highly stylized, this is it right here. Now, of course, it's not absolutely perfect. There are a couple very small things on this figure that we're going to talk about coming up, but I first of all just wanted to address the appearance of it. It's so elegant and agile looking, and that's absolutely perfect because we know that Carnotaurus had a large cauda femoralis muscle at the base of its tail connecting to its legs, and that is basically a dead giveaway that this animal was like the cheetah of the dinosaurs. This thing was a sprinter, and it was obviously meant to go after fast and small prey items with, of course, the size of its jaws and its head. And I just think CollectA have captured that elegant look of Carnotaurus so perfectly in this figure. I love the pose that they've given it. Now, I will say, one of the things that does bug me slightly are the feet on this figure. Let's get the light in there a little bit better. There we go. Now, it's not so bad with this one that's sort of lifting up in the back, but the way this one's planted on the ground, the back of the foot is like squared off, and obviously they probably had to do that so that it would connect to the base correctly, but I would have preferred if there were some more padding on the feet, especially like on the bottom of the feet and around the claws, etc. Maybe some like rolls and wrinkles in the skin around the feet. I don't know, the feet just feel a little retro to me in their appearance. They're still nicely done, and they're not the main part of the figure that you're going to be looking at all the time. But while we're down here, I also wanted to commend CollectA for really putting more effort into their bases. Like, this base is fantastic. It's still not painted, but in comparison to their old bases, we're going to do a comparison with one of their old bases from 2016 later on in the video, but this is just so much better. You have really nice detail of the earth with the dirt and the sand there or whatever. You have some nice like leaf fronds that have fallen on the ground. It's just really, there was so much effort put into sculpting the base in comparison to just the slab of brown or tan plastic that were on the older figures. I also like how it's a lot thicker. It's not like a slope, so it doesn't look like a mound of clay or something. It's like a big chunk of the earth that has been taken out with this Carnotaurus walking on it, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And in the other side, it just says Carnotaurus 2018, made in China from CollectA, and they carved out the bottom of it, so it's hollowed out, so you could save on plastic there, which of course is a good thing. But anyway, let's zoom out here. And another thing I wanted to address quickly is the coloration on this figure, because this is the part that I was actually concerned about. First of all, the blending, like the airbrushing with the browns, like the orangey sienna brown color with the dark brown going down the back, is absolutely phenomenal. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's fantastic. I love it. But then you move up to the face. Also, the tan underbelly has a nice like transition from the sienna browns color. But when you move up into the face, I'm gonna zoom in on it here a little bit. You can see where things start to get a little bit awkward, and it works. I love the coloration that they've given the face. Like, the banding is great, but you can tell that those stripes are stamped on. Like, the blending of the paint throughout the rest of the body, it looks like it's part of the animal. It looks fantastic, but these stripes, especially the ones on the neck here, you can just tell that they're stamped on. You can tell they're not part of the animal. It looks like the animal was just painted. It's not very convincing, but I do like what they were going for. I think maybe like a wash or something, or a nice fade on the edge of the stripes to make them look not so harsh and like they're a layer put on top of the scales of the animal would have done wonders for them. But still, I love what they were going for, and overall, I love the shaping of the stripes, especially the ones on the snout here. I like how it's thicker on the bottom towards the jaw, and then it gets thinner towards the top and hoops over the top of the snout. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. I love how this one goes past the eye as well. Also, a thing to notice is there are 3 stripes on the neck behind the head on this side, and on this side there are only 2, which I don't mind because they are different shapes, so it's sort of showing how in nature not all markings are perfectly symmetrical all the time. But still, I think that's just something to note, but I didn't notice it until I was really inspecting the figure close up. But while we're here, let's take a look at that head sculpt, because oh my goodness, this is like the perfect Carnotaurus head right here. This speaks Carnotaurus so extremely well on so many levels. It's absolutely unbelievable. The eyes, I love how they're done in the glossy black color. Really gives it like a menacing but naturalistic look. I absolutely love that. This figure was advertised at first to have an articulated jaw, but it does not have an articulated jaw, which in my book is a good thing for CollectA, because some of their articulated jaws in the past have been really awkward and just don't look that good, especially in the case of the new Baryonyx, which has come out, which is really unfortunate. But you can see the teeth are very nicely sculpted. I love the large scales going down the bottom jaw as well. Scalation across this figure is absolutely incredible as it is. And then you have the nice nostril and ear carved out on the head there. Looking front on, you can see like how thin the head for the Carnotaurus is, as it should be. It had a very slender snout there. And the horns, I actually had to bend this horn, I think it was, slightly because it was slightly warped. But my friends had a very good point. I was talking to my friends about this figure before making this review, and in nature, like horns, like the keratin growing over horns and etc., is not going to be absolutely perfect depending on what this animal does throughout its lifetime. So I like this slight imperfection in the horn. I think it adds like character to the Carnotaurus, and to be honest, I think it would be cool if it was even more bent than this one is. Maybe bending upwards slightly or forwards even, just to give it a little more character. I think that would be super cool, actually. But anyway, looking at the rest of the figure here, the neck is extremely long, as it should be for Carnotaurus, and that transitions nicely into the body, which here we have the famous and absolutely tiny and useless vestigial arms of Carnotaurus. Now, this arm over here, actually, in my opinion, from when I've compared it to the skeletals of Carnotaurus, is pointing down a little bit too much. Like, these should be almost perfectly horizontal. This one on this side looks, pretty good. It's pretty much perfectly horizontal. Like, that's an achievable pose, but this one is kind of hanging down a bit too much, in my opinion. I do really like the wrinkles and folds throughout, and the claws are even painted on the hands, which is great for how small they are. Also, going down the body, I absolutely love the scoots and the scales going down. You have these very large scales in this nice pattern going down the body. And then on the back, we have these really nice, like, scoots running along the top of the Carnotaurus here, which I think is an absolutely great addition to the sculpt. I actually wasn't a huge fan of these when I first saw the promo images for this Carnotaurus, but I think they look absolutely fantastic. I love how they get bigger up on the top of the hips here, and then they transition to smaller size going down the tail. Also, I love how stiff the tail looks like it's perfect for balance when this animal is sprinting, especially at the base of the tail. I think the base of the tail could have been bulked up a little bit more to really sort of drive home how big that muscle is at the base of the tail to help the animal with sprinting. But it looks pretty good overall, and you can just see, like, this animal was shaped like a torpedo. It was just meant for running after speedy prey items. Also, the legs have beautiful toned musculature throughout. But yeah, that is the CollectA 2019 Deluxe Carnotaurus. And actually, why don't we measure this figure quickly? So Marvin, why don't you bring out the flexi ruler? Thank you, Marvin. Alright, I've got our trusty flexi ruler here, so let's give this Carnotaurus a measure. So in terms of the length from the tip of the tail to the tip of the snout, we are looking at 11 inches, which is about 28 centimeters. And in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the top of the head there, we are looking at about 4.5 inches, which is about 11.5 centimeters. So this figure is actually substantially larger than I was expecting it to be, which is awesome. But anyway, for a quick comparison, I thought I'd bring out the CollectA 2016 Torvosaurus. Now this is a 1/40th scale Torvosaurus, so these aren't in scale with each other, but I think they just look awesome with the very different color schemes, and you can see how CollectA has come a long way with detailing their figures. Like this 2016 Torvosaurus is still one of my favorites from them, but it does look dated and it does have its anatomical issues. Also, I wanted to take this time to compare the display bases between the two. You can just see the difference between these two. Like, there's so much more detail and it looks so much more naturalistic on the Carnotaurus's base, and then when you go over to the Torvosaurus, it's just a slab of tan plastic with a couple footprints put into it, which is unfortunate. But still, I think these two figures look absolutely fantastic next to each other on the shelf, and it makes me want to pick up a couple more of their deluxe theropods, particularly their Ceratosaurus and their Mapusaurus, which I'd like to do reviews on coming up. That's the Torvosaurus, but while we're here with the Carnotaurus on the set, I thought I'd bring out the 2019 Borelepelta and the 2019 Edaphosaurus, which we have reviewed. These are the three 2019 figures that I have from CollectA. I was expecting the Edaphosaurus to be my favorite and the Borelepelta to be like my second favorite, but my favorite from 2019 so far is the Carnotaurus. This thing is amazing, absolutely amazing, and I cannot recommend this figure enough. But anyway, let's get these figures out of the way. And that, guys, is going to do it for today's review on the 2019 Deluxe 1/20th Scale CollectA Carnotaurus sastrei. Like I said, there we go, just focus, I'm so professional. Like I said, this figure is absolutely fantastic. I am in love with this piece. One of my favorite CollectA figures now, hands down, and without doubt, in my opinion, the go-to Carnotaurus figure. So if you're a fan of Carnotaurus, definitely pick this one up if you can. I'm going to put a link down below to D. Jenkins' website for US buyers, to Minizoo for Australian buyers, and to Everything Dinosaur for UK buyers. So you can check out those websites. It's in stock on all those websites there. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Also, leave a comment telling me what you think of this brand new Carnotaurus figure. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and as always, I will see you in my next video. So take care, and bye-bye.